there are many things about this world that a young person could feel angry about, or just let down by, maybe disappointed by, would be a better way of putting it. But unless we can articulate those things that we as young people truly feel disappointed by about this world, then we'll never manage to find the solution to the myriad of problems that we face. So one of the things about the world today, and we young people who have an awful lot of life ahead of us, and so naturally we think, well, we're either very short-term thinkers and we prize expedient temporary pleasure over long-term delayed gratification, or we are the type of person who has developed the capacity to be able to look into the future, and given our youth, understand that our future is most likely going to be a longer period of our life than the current period that we've lived through, from, say, I'm 23 now, so 0 to 23 years. Many more years than just another 23. There's maybe another 46, maybe another... You get my point. So we who have developed that capacity must be able to articulate the problems that we see and also suggest solutions. Perhaps at least be able to adequately speak to the problem, because unless we can ask the right questions of the problem, then we're guaranteed not to get the answers. So one of the things about the hyper-novel world, and that's an important concept to grasp, and that's a concept that Brett Weinstein and Heather Heying first flesh out in their book A Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century. This concept of hyper-novelty is a useful one because there's such a myriad of problems in today's world that to try and solve all of them individually is a fool's errand. We'd be better off understanding the generator function that, I don't know, you might say lies beneath all of the myriad of problems. There's the one generator function. For at least a big portion of those problems, for many of them, there's the one generator function. And so if we can go back to the generator function and solve that, then we stand a chance of solving all the subsequent downstream problems of that generator function. And this is my whole point about being capable of articulating what it is that we see. Young people, we need to be able to use language in such a way that we actually make these problems solvable, as opposed to just complaining about how bad we've got it in this world. Because I can just hear in my head the counter argument to how bad we've got it. It's like, you live in the West and we're completely comfortable. You've never been forced to go through a period of your life where you're starving for however long, and then you've never been subject to authoritarian rule, and you've got it so good. You're in the democratic West and it's so easy going for you, and yet you're still complaining. Like, I see that counter argument, but no doubt there are many problems in this world, and I don't want the conversation or discussion or dialectic to descend into that back and forth, like argument, counter argument, argument, counter argument. This is so unproductive, it's just ridiculous, and my blood boils whenever that happens, whenever a potentially productive conversation between two minds descends into that madness. And one of the problems there is the politicization of all the problems that we see in the world today. It's just ridiculous, and just how political everything has become. Like, we used to understand, I don't know if we did even, but I like to think that in Western history we used to understand that science should never be informed by politics, and science should inform politics. But now we've just got the inverse. It's politics informing science, and science only pushing political agendas. That's the only science that really counts in today's world. That's the science that is funded. So we're in a sticky situation. But the main point of this video was just to implore young people to develop, well, first off, develop the capacity to be able to think long term and to delay gratification. And then secondly, to articulate what you see, the problems that you see. We need to hear what we each see and perceive in the world, to see if we're on the same wavelength and to see if we're actually in touch with the underlying reality that we inhabit. It's a tricky one because everything's so fucked up in today's world. Everything's so confusing, but this is our lot and this is what we've got, and I actually think the chaos is kind of fun because there's so much opportunity. Well, there's either dystopic, when you start thinking in this long term, you see the trajectory that we're on and the potential trajectories that we could continue down, and there's like dystopic futures, there's catastrophic futures, there's beautiful futures as well. And the goal as a young person today is perhaps to personally develop yourself enough such that you can become an agent of change that works towards those more beautiful futures, potential futures. So that's that.